Writer-director SS Rajamouli. Loving the energy of this crowd, by the way, so thank you, because that just hypes all of us up too. So I'm going to start off with you, SSR. There's so many scenes that stand out, of course, in this film, but one of the pivotal scenes that I can probably attest to from everyone is the scene with the animals coming out, and it's such an intense scene. Can you talk about the logistics of how you planned that scene out?
Oh my God, I need another 3 hours to explain. But for me, I always look for opportunity where I can bring in an action sequence. The opportunity is when there is an emotional conflict. That gives me a perfect opportunity to lay out my action sequence. So in this scene, it has been laid out from the beginning. We have established Ram's character, we have established Bhim's character, and we established that both of them are going to be pitted against each other. And the audience know the moment they meet, it's going to be explosive. The moment they realize that they're not friends, but they're going to be against each other. We know, as audience, we know that the moment is going to be very, very emotional. So that gives me a perfect setting to create an action sequence. And also, Bhim has to enter into the enemy camp, and he's a foreigner there. He doesn't have any strength, and him being a jungle man, he will look for some kind of aid, some kind of help, and him dealing with animals is something we established in the beginning. So that is the background how I bring that onto the screen. And the logistics are just a nightmare. we shot it for 40 to 43 nights. I need a lot more time for me to explain.
There are a lot of exotic animals in there too, so just the creation of those animals, I can imagine. And then for you, of course, Naatu.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yes, congratulations with it. I want to talk about, now you both are cousins, and so you work together a lot. In this song sequence, the composition of it, how much direction did you receive from SSR? Because I know you have a lot of signature steps in all of your movies, so was the choreography instruction given to you first, or was it the musical part? Talk to us about the approach on the song.
Now, for Naatu, I just came up with version 1, that's the existing one in the movie. And then SSR is not sure of having the same as final version, so he asked me to compose more and more. So I was composing for about 20 to 25 version options for the song. So, but surprisingly, he liked one particular tune, which was originally meant for Naatu, one particular option, which goes like this, without any lyrics. It's a again celebration song only. So he liked the song and the tune, and he wanted me to reserve the tune for him for the same movie. And he came up with an idea that he's going to use the tune with the patriotic words on the end credits. That was that flag song which comes in the end. And my journey continues with Naatu, and we keep trying. And when my son, who is also assisting me on programming side, he came up with an interesting coda where the song culminates into a competitive dance-off thing. So he did some interesting programming, additional tones and all. So with that, SSR is finally convinced to have the originally meant first version, and he went by the first version. That's how Naatu was there, which we originally freshly composed one. So that was finalized, and he took that version finally.
Wow. And also another interesting thing is that I understand you enact your sequences for the actors before actually filming them. Is that correct?
Not entirely. I mean, I like to have fun with wires, so in the guise of testing it for the actors, I just sometimes put on the suit and fly. It's just having fun. I don't try out everything.
Oh, you don't? Okay, so I was going to ask you, is that part of your process, or is it just for certain sequences?
Yeah, sometimes playing is sometimes helps you get into the mode. It helps you see the scene in a completely different perspective. If you're in the actor's shoes, what if you're flying? What if you're falling? What if you're rolling? Whatever, it just gives you a completely different perspective of how the action can be shot. So I do that not to safeguard the actor's interests. nothing of that sort.
And no dabbling in acting maybe after that?
Not at all.
For you, you know, of course, growing up, I'm Indian as well, and we've grown up around so many Indian songs. But what does the global impact of Naatu Naatu mean to you?
Yeah, Naatu is just like one of the 1,000 songs we Indians used to compose in the same beat with the same kind of percussions. But what made difference with Naatu is thanks to our choreographer, Mr. Premrajit. So he came up with a very innovative hook steps and for Naatu. So I think he should be credited majorly for making this song so viral around the world. So that particular step, it's very it's a provoking step that everybody wants to try just at least once, but not me.
Oh, so you're not going to demonstrate for us tonight?
No. Funny, you must have watched me a few times when Naatu is being announced as the winner, and trying to go all the way up the days and just compose myself to receive the award. You see, it requires a lot of stamina. I cannot imagine Naatu even in my wildest dreams.
Speaking of wildest dreams, if Naatu Naatu wins at the Oscars, sister, for Best Original Song, this will be the first time a Telugu language song will be winning at the Oscars or even being recognized on such a global platform. So, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
I would love to open it up to our audience. Does anyone have questions out here in the audience that you would like to ask? Yes.
That's me? Okay.
Yes.
Hi, Raj. Namaskaram. This is truly an honor to even be in your presence. I have to say, for those who don't know, he has used two very mythical characters and taken their essence and shown us both the goods and the bads. What was your decision to make Rama and Bhima come together and use those essences and question their original story arcs?
For me, I have been doing a lot of films which had very powerful villains before, but most of the villains are completely black in nature. So, as creators, we know when it is when the villain and hero are completely black and white, or evil and good. The conflict is not so beautiful, and we all know that a conflict between good person and a good person gives rise to much more beautiful drama. I wanted to do that for a long time. So that is the main creative process of doing RRR, and in that process I was also looking at India has a long history of a freedom struggle against British. India was under the British rule for 90 years. And in that process, there are many leaders who fought for the freedom of the people, laying down their lives. And I chose two of the people, Allu Sita Ramaraju and Kumram Bhim, who are from my part of the country, who fought against their oppressors for the freedom of their people. And interestingly, they came from around the same time. They were born around the same time. They went out of their homes around the same time, and we don't know what happened to them for a period of 2-3 years. I thought, okay, this is a beautiful time that I can take out of their lives, because no one knows what happened then. I can bring them together, weave a story of friendship, betrayal, coming together and fighting for a single cause. I thought there was a beautiful story there. And so that's how RRR was born. In my country, I think almost every child grows up on the epics Ramayana and Mahabharata, and we know the characters Rama and Bhima. And here the names of these characters are Sitaram Raju and Kumram Bhim. So it so happened, it's a coincidence that there is a reference in mythology as well as in history. So I just use the references from the epics as well to enhance the dramatics of the film.
Thank you, Devgn. Anyone else have a question they'd like to ask? Yes. Yes.
I'd love to know how many background you used on your big days without plates. And I also wanted to know how you captured such an expressive cast. And did you do a lot of takes, or were you a 2-take kind of director?
I just want to confirm, you were asking about how did he like the background actors?
Yeah, well,
because it's such a large cast.
Yeah, how many he had on a single day without plates?
Oh, how many cast members did you have on a single day, especially with all the background?
Obviously, it varies from day to day. The highest cast members that I had was the introduction sequence of Ram when he fights against the mob. The maximum number of extras I had in that scene on few days was like about 2,000 extras were there. Even during the interval, we had sometimes 1,600 to 1,800 extras on a few of the nights. That's the maximum number of people we had, but by now we had a lot of experience in how to deal with large numbers, because my previous films, Baahubali 1 and 2, had even bigger numbers. We dealt with even bigger numbers, so that's not a big thing for us. We knew how to deal with those people. And the casting wise, I should say I'm lucky to get my principal actors, Ram Charan and NTR. Both of them are very good actors, excellent dancers. They do all the stunts for themselves. I hardly used the body doubles for 3 or 4 shots maximum. Rest every shot was performed by them. They're very good. They're very committed, and yeah, all the cast members. Even if it's a small role, Alia has a beautiful expression. Alia Bhatt, who played Sita. Likewise, all the cast were fantastic in their performances. I think in all my films, I have done 12 films so far. I think the best performances I had is from RRR.
Do you have the 2 actors in mind when you wrote the script?
Absolutely, yes.
I think there was a question here, yes.
Yes. Can you talk about the post-production, how long it took you, you have the special effects, and how you put everything together? I mean, because it seems like a very complicated to keep the storyline and to keep everything like exciting and full of energy and good vibrations, and have this reaction of the audiences who now have the opportunity to see them this big screen.
The way we operate, at least I operate, is slightly different. I shoot for a very long time. RRR was shot for 320 days. And as I'm shooting, the post-production starts. Once one episode is done, I immediately complete the edit of that sequence. Maybe sometimes I do make changes even after the edit, but I need a long time to do the post-production process, especially the VFX. So we plan an episode, shoot the episode, edit it, and send it for VFX. Plan the next episode, shoot it, edit it, send it for VFX. And sometimes we start the re-recording the background score much earlier before we finish the shoot. So for us, it is like the production and post-production go hand in hand. The whole thing took about 2 years, 2 years to do. It's very difficult to say when I finished the production and started the post-production. Both of them went hand in hand.
Yes.
Hi SS, you know how much I love this film. This time when I saw it the second time, I was blown away, of course, by the big CGI stuff, but even the small scenes, the running scenes, when they're running through the small... What was your camera operator doing? Was he running backwards? Was he on a motorcycle? And can you also talk about the amazing thematic music that went with the characters? Like every time they heard that boom, boom, we knew Ram was coming. It was incredible.
I'll let him speak for the second part of the question. For the first part, the cinematography was done by Sendil Kumar. This is my 8th film with him, so we have a great understanding on how to deal with this stuff. One interesting thing was when Beam was running in the jungle, when the camera was parallelly going through, there was no way that we could put a vehicle. It was a parkour artist who was holding the camera and running. Initially, we tested it with a fighter. The fighters are obviously very agile and they run quite fast, and the parkour artist ran along with him, and he thought, okay, if I can catch up with the stunt guy, I can definitely run along with the actor, because usually actors are not as strong as the stunt guys. So the moment NTR came in, and on one rehearsal, he said, go action, and the way NTR ran forward, the camera had to pan and had to catch him from the behind. And the guy, I remember the expression on the camera guy's face, he said, okay, I need to put back my running shoes on. And he had to run really, really fast to catch up with him. We had some fantastic camera operators to catch all this stuff, whether it's Beam in the jungle or following Ram and Lachu in the chase sequences. We had some beautiful camera operators who did the job.
Well, the piece you're mentioning about that Ram Charan's theme, the Ram's theme, the theme. So something about the theme is I like to compose theme music for all the characters as per the frequencies I believe in. So I believe in when somebody is confident, very confident about what he is up to, then he will say it very in a cool manner. Like for example, like, yeah, I can do this thing. I'm sure that I'm going to do this. That's the sentence. I'm sure I'm going to do this. Someone is shouting like that, but I'm sure I'm going to do this. If someone is very confident, very determined about his capacities, then his voice comes down and into a very low confident pitch. So I wanted to go by that pitch. Dun, 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 dun. So that was the theme for Ram Charan's most of the scenes he is portrayed. So similarly, I try to get the connection between the natural impulses of the animals or human beings, whatever, and try to match those frequencies with my music in a musical order.
Yes, question in the back there.
Namaskaram, Andy. Thank you for bringing this movie to all of us. It's just such an honor. It's just such a cool thing to see this.
Can I have you speak up just a little bit louder?
So my question is actually, there's so many different aspects of Indian culture and even Telugu, like in the differences in the Telugu language that you're presenting. What kind of helped you put together all these elements in such a cohesive way and bring everything together in the story?
See, every storyteller is very greedy. He likes his story to be heard by more number of people. He likes the story to be heard by people across the races and cultures. But to do that, I feel the more rooted you are in your culture, the story will travel wider. That is something that I believe in. So going into nuances of different practices or languages, everything is a part of it, is to enhance the flavor of my own culture into the story. So it everything stems from that idea. To reach out wider, you have to go deeper into your own culture.
Thank you for that. We have time for one last question. Let me give it to you.
Back to like your personal planning, with the cinematographer and the discussions and how you mapped out, because you're shooting sequence by sequence and then you're editing right after, right? And then it goes by behind it to VFX. I mean, this is, kind of a different way of working than, shooting it all at once and then going into post and then, so I just think that you're kind of turning it on its head, which we love, but we're so interested in that process, and I was wondering if you could speak a little more to us about that, because it's so foreign of a process to how one typically shoots a film.
Yeah, there are obviously certain disadvantages also in the way that I'm doing it, because sometimes we edit it long before the final edit is done, and we send it for VFX, and there are going to be some deletions or additions to that particular sequence, which is loss of money, loss of resources, that's energy that's been put into that particular sequence. But there is, in comparison, waiting for the entire film to over in the way that we are doing, shooting for 320 days, then doing the post-production, the losses are even more. So we take that into account, and we are prepared for a little bit of loss and go forward with it. But the first part of your question is more important, because how clear are we in the story that we want to tell? So once it is done, I have a detailed narration to my HODs. In this case, like you were saying with my DOP, I won't be talking about how I am going to shoot that particular sequence. I tell the story to him just like my audience, as if he's an audience, and I try to tell him the kind of emotion that I want to portray in that particular scene or to the character or that episode. So I want him to understand not the visual that I have in my mind, but I want him to understand the emotion that I want to convey. And once that comes across, we have a lot of discussion on whether the emotion is coming across or not how I'm going to picturize it. So once I'm clear that he got my idea, I have to trust him to do the job. We have done 8 films together. There is a reason why we did 8 films together. All my HODs, all my films, he's the music director. So all my HODs are almost the same. I rarely change them. So once I understand that they understood that what I want to convey, what kind of emotion or what degree of emotion that I want to convey to the audience, I leave rest to them to do their job. I don't go and meddle with their job. It is a lot of trust. Sometimes we go wrong. Sometimes it doesn't come out. Like I said, there is wastage of money and energy. But it's been working for me so far. Probably I learn better ways to do it. I always keep myself open to learn and better myself. Maybe I'll find better ways to do it.
Thank you. It's been working very well. Well, thank you, SS Rajamouli and Keeravaani for being here tonight. It's such a pleasure. And thank you all for being with us here tonight on your Friday evening. Have a safe night.
I'll take it.